The Jewish communities in Canada are still trying to make sense of an alleged fake anti-Semitic attack in Winnipeg. Police say the owners of a family restaurant staged everything, but the family insists that they're telling the truth.
Did you fake the vandalism around this one?
We didn't, because we don't joke about swastika on our walls.
One of the owners says she was assaulted and the restaurant was spray painted with hateful graffiti. But after investigating, police charged 3 members of the family with public mischief. My next guest thinks that when hate crimes turn out to be fake, it causes cynicism to grow. Joining us from Portland, Oregon is Andy Ngo. He's an editor at Quillette, and he's actually investigated a number of hate crime hoaxes over the years. And he joins us again, as we say, from Portland. So Andy, thanks for making time for us this evening. It's such a unique beat, the idea of investigating hate crime hoaxes. But before we get into why you do this, can you help us understand what exactly is a hate crime hoax?
A hate crime hoax is where there's an allegation of a bias-motivated attack, either on a body or property, and the perpetrator is alleged to be a member of some specific group.
Group meaning either designated by their race or their religion, gender, sexual orientation?
Correct.
Okay. So with that in mind, how and why did you start looking into hate crime hoaxes?
Because the city where I live, Portland, is a extremely progressive city, and it's fallen victim to a number of hoaxes over the years. So just in the milieu that I'm a part of, I took an interest in it, and particularly after the Jussie Smollett story blew up and was revealed to be most likely a self-fabricated event, it made me fascinated to look to see how many of the actual alleged hate attacks that have been reported in the media since Donald Trump was elected are actually true. In the American press, after the election, there was a lot of fanning of the flames, particularly by groups like the SPLC, claiming that there was a massive uptick. And this has actually spawned real panic and anxiety in minority communities.
What would be the incentive to fabricate a hate crime?
I would ask, what incentive is there not? If you're on a campus, for example, and you claim to be a victim of a racist attack, you are lavish with attention and given the opportunity to give speeches and lead marches. Some people frequently also start fundraising campaigns. It's very easy to start a GoFundMe. So you can have fame, money. You also have an opportunity to push your political ideology.
Andy, it's answers like that have force people to give you a lot of pushback on this topic, saying that you're actually causing division by putting so much emphasis on the hoaxes, that your investigations get used to discredit actual hate crimes that take place. How do you respond to that?
Well, the victims of hate crime hoaxes are actually real victims of hate crimes, because even though the numbers reported in the media are frequently misrepresented and exaggerated, there are incidences that do happen. And what happens is that it promotes cynicism in the public, as well as, more importantly, it wastes police resources. I mean, just looking at Canada, just this past week, you have the case of the cafe and restaurant in Winnipeg. There were dozens of police officers who were assigned to investigate that, and they spent a total of 1,000 hours on that case. That's a lot of time, that's a lot of money. The year before in Toronto, you had the case of the 11-year-old Muslim girl who fabricated an incident of allegedly having an attack on her headscarf.
So again, I guess I need to understand what, from a Canadian perspective, why do you think this is happening? Is it just because people want attention, they want the platform? What's the benefit?
The media, there's a lot of media malfeasance in how these incidents are reported on. You get an outpouring of support from a community as well as from the media, and frequently if you don't actually report it formally to police, then there's actually little to no way for anybody to hold you accountable. So you also have, there's just an endless number of incentives to hoax a hate attack or or a bias incident, and short of being held accountable by police, you can get away with it.
So at this time, and as your country is headed towards the 2020 election, if we continue to see a rise either in actual hate crimes or even hate crime hoaxes, what does this do in terms of tensions and divisions for your country?
Well, polarization in America is the worst I've seen in my young life, but they contribute to these narratives of division. Jussie Smollett was kind of like hit on everything that polarizes this country. For example, he claimed that he was targeted by racist and homophobic Trump supporters. Other incidences that have been hoaxes in America have been some Muslim women pretending or claiming that they were attacked for their religious dress, which was untrue. I'm thinking of the case in New York City, for example. It leads to polarizing narratives in this country.
Okay, so then what's the solution? Or is it as simple as don't report fake crimes?
The solution is that politicians need to enact laws that make punishments for faking hate crimes more severe. I mean, what I see happening over and over on university campuses is that administrators come out after an incident is reviewed to be a hoax, and they say something along the lines of, this person was in a bad place, they brought attention to important issues, and so we're going to just move past this. I mean, that just incentivizes more people in the future to fake incidences. So it's about accountability through the legal system.
Okay, Andy, we will leave it there. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Andy Ngo is an editor at Quillette. He's joining us from Portland, Oregon.